council meeting in California has spiraled into a real-life soap opera. San Fernando Mayor Mario Hernandez shared, let's call them private details of an intimate affair at a public city council meeting. It began with a shocking admission about his personal finances. Listen.
It is true that I did lose my business. I did have to file personal bankruptcy, and I did have to file a corporate bankruptcy.
Then came his admission of a relationship with a city councilwoman. His estranged wife was in the front row when he gave that admission. Listen.
And secondly, I'd like to put out there before and squash the rumors that, yes, I have been in a relationship with Councilmember De La Torre.
I'm going to squash the rumors by telling you the rumors are true. According to a local newspaper, his wife stood up then and insisted that they actually weren't even separated when the affair began, as he claimed. Joining me now, clinical psychologist Dr. Ramani Durvasula, Stacy Phillips, who is a divorce attorney, and David Begnaud. He's a reporter for CNN Los Angeles affiliate KTLA. He's been covering the story. So, David, this is where our tax dollars are going?
Look, the kicker is he had the wife removed from the meeting. He says to the police, can you get rid of her?
Because she stood up and said, this is not true.
And he goes, can you escort her out? And they did. So here's the woman wanting to stand up and go, whoa, wait a minute. We were still married when they started this affair.
And I heard she was sort of reasonable. It wasn't like she was a raving lunatic in the room.
Very legitimate, calm voice, stands up, and he in just as calm a voice says, Lieutenant, can you remove her, please?
Oh, my goodness. Now, Dr. Ramani, have we gotten to the point now where people are so fearful of cover-ups, and we all understand now that covering things up is not the right thing to do, that by not covering up, somehow we're going to be forgiven for whatever sins we have committed?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, what we're doing is we go to the court of public opinion, and now we think we can launch these preemptive strikes and
preemptive strikes with horrible things, though. Like, I've done horrible things, everybody. I'm being honest. I'm being honest, so I've done horrible things, so you're going to forgive me now because I'm being honest and not covering it up.
Listen, honesty could end up being the new black. It's sort of refreshing.
Well, it's refreshing. It's refreshing that they're being honest, but it's so primitive to think that somehow everyone's going to be forgiving and embrace him. Oh, thank you so much, Mayor, for telling us about the bankruptcy and the affairs, and especially the affair with the councilwoman. What's going to happen to this marriage, Stacey?
If she's a smart cookie, she's going to call it quits, and then she will be separated. But in California, we have a no-fault state, so she can't do anything about the fact that he's having an affair unless he's done something illegal. Certainly this is unethical.
We'll talk to you more about that. I think that's what's bothering the people in San Fernando, is that the behavior, I mean, right, you're rolling your eyes. I mean, let's talk about the ethics of a public figure, first of all, engaging in inappropriate behaviors, and then
with a city council person where they're supposed to be negotiating, dealing, they may take different positions, and you're in bed, literally and figuratively. A little bit of a problem there.
David, how's the community reacting to this?
They're furious. Look, he's the one that went public with his personal life. No one went trolling into his bedroom to find out what was going on. He says he did it because he didn't want rumors getting in the way of his political job.
But well, right there, that's the thinking that makes me crazy.
Narcissism?
Right. It's narcissism, but it's a weird kind of a denial, isn't it?
Right. But narcissism is characterized by denial.
Yeah, I suppose
it's what
that's
it is.
right.
It's nothing but these projective defenses. But it would be interesting to see the populace get this inflamed by real public issues. I don't think you'd get people showing up to a town council meeting about whether they should erect a new library. But when we talk about his erection, well, then that's a whole different game.
As long as we're erecting, we're in the right ballpark. But David, I guess your residents did give Mayor Hernandez a tongue lashing at the city council meeting earlier this week. Take a look.
You know what, Mayor? You ain't got no shame at all. I don't have no respect for you.
You don't have respect for your wife, for your family. We are wounded. We're mortally wounded. And those that have mortally wounded us must step down.
It's really very disturbing that he would bring this to the council and expose our community members and the children that were here to his tawdry little affair.
David, where does it go from here?
Well, look, here's the thing. I don't know where it goes because that's what everybody's talking about right now. They've got serious issues. They've got to renew their police contract. They're talking about privatizing the fire service. But right now, the whole meeting, all city business is dominated by what he's doing in the bedroom. And she, by the way, the woman he's allegedly sleeping with, not at the meeting.
Oh, interesting. She's back home at his house? Or?
She was a no-show, right?
No-show. She actually has shame. You say the other thing about narcissism, they're relatively recalcitrant to experiencing shame. She is deeply ashamed, but they're calling for his resignation. Should he resign?
They want him gone. They want him gone for this reason. A lot of people talking about morality. A lot of people walking in and using the word God and your wife and your commitment. They're not so forgiving to his new interest.
Stacey, is this merely a microcosm of what you're seeing out there in the world in marriages, that people are just mistreating each other horribly?
Mistreating each other horribly and engaging in sexting, internet relationships. People have relationships, and I had one case where somebody was going to marry somebody he had never met, but had communicated with on the internet. Threw away a marriage of 40 years with a wife who was sick. Like, what are you thinking?
Well, that's, Dr. Ramani, how do we help people understand what are people thinking? I mean, I think we deal with this all the time now. People have lost a sense of what real intimacy is, the capacity for genuine commitments.
Yes.
Our ethical compasses are all spinning as a result.
Right. But I also think the idea of authentically honoring what a marriage is, that I think what's happening is people in some ways are unwilling to leave that safe harbor of the marriage. Sometimes the relationship is done, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage to look each other and say, let's respectfully end this union and then go our separate ways, rather than staying in this inauthentic space and then letting it sort of spin into these other rather messy situations that can challenge a family, a community, and everyone around it. So I think there's two different conversations about.
Well, speaking of challenging the community, David, are you out there reporting from the people on the ground, the people that live in San Fernando? Is it really a pervasive topic throughout the community, or something just goes on in that council chamber?
It became pervasive when he made it an issue. When he opened up a public meeting.
What should he have done? Should he have kept it quiet and just let them be rumors as opposed to validating the rumors?
Look, who knows? But at the end of the day, that is what 25 people got up to the podium to talk about. His kids were in the front row. His kids were
kids with the wife?
No, the wife was not there.
Oh, this time they were in the front row.
Yeah, they were in the front row.
How old were they?
Young adults, 18, 19, looked to be in their early 20s. And the only person who looked unaffected by the people getting up there lambasting him was him. He sat up there just cool as day.
And Dr. Gervasil is making the diagnosis of narcissistic disorders, or at least narcissistic traits. Well, the mayor tried to defend his actions with a public statement, so watch.
In September, I spoke to my estranged wife and my children about my new relationship. I have always remained honest and truthful to my family.
So, Stacey, if you were representing, I guess you'd represent one or the other of these parties.
Yes, not both.
let's say you're representing the mayor. What would you tell him to do?
Actually, I would have liked to have gotten
home before all this, I understand. Yeah. But now that he's created all this mess, what should he do?
Take this out of the public forum and honor your wife. Make whatever deal you can. Do not do it in a public courtroom.
Should he step down?
That's not my purview. Personally, absolutely.
It'd be hard for him to do both. I mean, do we all agree with that? Hard for him to... David, you're shaking your head no?
Look, he wanted to talk about other business, and everybody else wanted to talk about his bedroom.
You can't.
That's it.
Yeah. And I'm not convinced. I mean, I don't know. I mean, this idea that while it certainly makes us doubt his moral and ethical compass, again, that the community gets so inflamed about who he shares his bed with and less inflamed about these very important civic issues.
But it is what it is.
That's the trouble.
But it is what it is.